All right, so we're going to review the 4 prisms and pyramids that we learned about in the past couple weeks. So let's just kind of, if you can print this paper, go ahead and do it. It'll be a lot easier. But if you cannot, just get a piece of paper and pause the video and draw these as you go, and then kind of make this table. I mean, it doesn't have to be beautiful, just something that you can use on your review assignment. So make sure you get these formulas down. Make sure you're listening. You're not just speeding through it and copying down everything and ignoring what I'm saying, because that's totally pointless. So make sure that you're listening, you're writing everything down, and then you can use this paper to help you on your assignment. Okay? So let's just go through the first shape. We're going to do all of these at once, and then we'll move on to the second shape. So the first shape, remember, it's a rectangular, and I'm not even going to write that whole word out, just put rectangular prism. Okay? And this is a really tricky one when it's talking about bases, because the bases are always the parallel sides, but honestly, it could be the top and the bottom for this one. It could also be the sides, or it could be the front and the back, because they're all parallel. None of these sides are ever going to touch each other. These parallel sides are always going to stay parallel no matter where they are. So really, the base just depends on what they tell you the base is. So for this, I'm just going to say it's the sides. I'll just color them in. This is the only one that's pretty hard to figure out what the bases are. The other ones are super easy. So if they ask you about area of the base, that's what you would use. So on the formula chart, they like to give you these formulas that look really easy, but they're actually kind of not as helpful as you think they would be. So the formula chart, V equals big B times H. Remember that big B means area of the base. Okay? And then this H just means the height of the prism. And remember, the height is the distance, we can even write it down, distance between base or bases. Okay? So the height is always the distance between the bases. So if I said these are the bases, the height would be this 10. Okay? If I said the top and the bottom are the bases, the height would be the 6, okay? So it really just depends on what the bases are for rectangular prisms. So, I mean, it's not super complicated. You find the area of that rectangle and then just times the height. But there's a little bit easier way. So if you can memorize this, this is a good one to use. Volume is also the same thing as length times width times height, okay? So you're just multiplying all 3 numbers and then you're done. Okay, no matter what the base is. If that's asking for the volume. If they're not asking for the volume, then you might want to use this formula. Okay? All right. Second one. So we have still a prism, but it's a triangular prism. Okay? So on this one, the bases are not on the bottom because that bottom is not parallel to anything. It's always, always, always the triangles. Remember, it gets its name from its base. So the triangles are your bases, okay? So formula chart's going to say the same thing as before. V equals big B times H. Not super helpful. The area of the base to get a triangle, because you're getting the area of a triangle, that's supposed to be a drawing of a triangle, you would do base times height divided by 2, and then times the height of the prism. Not super helpful. You know, if you cannot memorize how to find the area of a triangle and then times the height, it can get a little bit tricky. So if you can help or memorize this other one, volume is length times width times height divided by 2. Because remember, when we have triangles, we divide by 2. So if you can memorize this one, it's super easy. You're just multiplying what 3 numbers they give you and then divide your answer by 2. Okay? Both of these are not wrong, not perfect. You use whatever you are comfortable with. All right, next one. So we have a pyramid. I'm going to shade the base. I want you to think about what we would name this pyramid. Okay, it's not technically a square. You could say it's a square pyramid, but I'm going to call this a rectangular. I'm not even going to spell it out. Rect pyramid. Now, something I do want you to think about when we are calculating the volume of the pyramid, when they give you the vertical, if something's like dropping down the middle, like they're dropping a string down the pyramid or it's going straight down through the pyramid, that is the height. Okay, that's the height that you want to use. You don't want something that's coming down this side, okay? You want it going straight up and down inside of the pyramid. That's the actual height. So on a formula chart, they're going to give you volume equals area of the base times the height divided by 3. Now, area of the base is pretty easy. You just find the area of this rectangle times the height of the pyramid and then divide by 3. Or you could just do length times width times height divided by 3. Each one of those will work. So whatever you feel more comfortable with, that is what you do. But you got to remember, big B is area of the base, okay? All right, last one. We have a base that is a triangle. I'll try to color it in nicely. Okay, so this will be a triangular pyramid. That was kind of messy. All right, so same thing as this, pyramids have the same volume formula on the formula chart. So that's not super helpful for y'all because I know we can get a little tripped up. You're like, oh wait, but the base is a triangle, what do I do? So you can actually use this formula, which is length times width times height divided by 6. And you're probably wondering, why did I just jump to a 6? It was going 2, 3, shouldn't that be a 4? But remember, if it's a triangle, to find the area of a triangle, we do base times height divided by 2. And then we're going to have to divide by 3. Well, 2 times 3 is 6. So really, instead of dividing by 2 and then dividing by 3, you can just combine that, and we're just dividing by 6 at the end. Okay? And then also something that, if you kind of struggle with these, remember, the more complicated the shape gets, the bigger the division number gets. So rectangular prisms, super easy, don't divide at all. Triangular prisms, a little bit harder, divide by 2. Rectangular pyramids, a little bit harder, divide by 3. Triangular pyramids, pretty hard, divide by 6. Okay? So that's kind of how I memorize it. There's just 4, different formulas. If you get this better, you can understand, I need to find the area of the base times the height, divide by 3, go for it. It is whatever you are comfortable with. So you use which formula works best for you, but they will both work, okay? So if you have any questions, just go ahead and email your teachers. If you need to pause this video, catch up, get all these notes down, go ahead, and good luck, guys.